Welcome back to the best thing you watched this week. Chris from Movies and Munchies, myself, Ruben from the Ruby Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. If this is your first time, we have a format where we talk about the best things that we watched this week. We have an audio exclusive section where we talk about not so much the best thing we watched this week and perhaps something we've never seen before or something we haven't seen in a long time. And then entertainment news and what we are looking forward to. And in Patreon this week, which you can join for just £1 or $1.50 depending which part of the world you're in, we're going to be doing charades. We'll see how long that lasts and what silliness we get up to with that. So we're just going to try and guess each other's films. If you want to join us there for just £1, that would be awesome. However, we're very thankful to have your googly eyes here with us. Every week we start with a movie quiz. And Chris will tell us who's won last week's. And then I believe will tell us some new ones.
You did very well for not even breaking character as I went out of focus and then tried to have my camera find focus. For those of you on the audio, you missed Chris being very stupid and weird. So last week we had 3 winners. Red Comet. Congratulations with the correct theme of Gary Busey. That's not really it. He just keeps, she, I don't know. Red Comet just keeps asking me to review, do like a Gary Busey marathon, and that's not going to happen. Chris Retzlaff, yeah, no, right. And Nostromo. So congratulations to all you 3. The theme was Kate Winslet. The answers, Contagion, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and The Holiday.
Contagion was a good one to throw in there because it's a bit of an unknown one for her.
Right. And she's so good. There's a point in there where she kicks in very pragmatically and goes against like self-survival.
Who else is in that with her? Is it Lawrence Fishburne?
Jude Law. Is Lawrence Fishburne in there?
I have I can see a green cover that says Contagion with Lawrence Fishburne on it.
I think yes, he is because he's her boss. Yeah.
Yeah, he is in it. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in this, and it's
Matt Damon, Gwyneth Paltrow, Marion Cotillard. That's crazy.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
I think so. Probably a long time ago. It's 2011, so probably.
Dude. It's kind of like Jaws.
Right. Yeah.
You made people not want to go into the water. This made you want to wash your hands incessantly.
Not want to go outside.
Yeah, no, it
COVID.
was. Well, and that's actually like how scary it was because of how. Anyway, are you ready for today's?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Number 1. Okay, so the scariest environment imaginable. Thanks. That's all you got to say. Scariest environment imaginable.
I know this one straight off the bat. I even hear
right?
Who it is.
I thought you might. Okay. I care desperately about what I do. Do I know what product I'm selling? No. Do I know what I'm doing today? No. But I'm here, and I'm going to give it my best shot.
Okay.
I'm in hillbilly hell. My IQ's dropping by the second. I'm becoming one of them.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to. Is there a theme?
Yes, there is.
Okay. Cool.
And so if you know the first one.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to work out. Yeah. I know the first one. All right.
But let us know in the comments. Give us your guesses. We'll give you the shout out. Do everybody a favor, give a little space in the comments so that your answers aren't first and foremost. Ruben, do you have a question?
Is AI good for us?
Ooh. No. Well, yes and no. For some creativity within, if you're having fun, yes. Like, I've used it a little bit with Photoshop, to remove things or add things. I do believe it is the downfall of society, because we've had all of these movies and books that are really cautionary tales, and yet somehow everybody believes they are instruction manuals. Yeah. And so it's we're rocketing towards a point where I believe we're already there, that it's it becomes like a computer virus, that it has access to all the information, and while it's not actually sentient in the way that you and I would be, it can work out problems, but without any emotion tied to it, which sounds like it could be a good thing because you don't overreact, but that also means that you act coldly, like just matter-of-factly, and so you weigh things not based on necessarily a moral type of thing, but just on a yes or no. And so, yeah. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think we've seen true AI yet. It's just systems, it's learning systems, where we program it. If we ever do get AI, I do wonder if it will, because it learns from us, if it will learn and understand whether humans are always our own worst enemies and think to help us to actually go the way of Skynet and destroy us all so we can start again. Maybe select the first few and then look after us that way, because it would be logical to make us start again because we keep wiping each other out. Yeah. I don't know. Let us know in the comments. If I just reviewed a film called Tim, and we've gotten so many of these artificial films of late because that's the popular thing to talk about because it's popular at the moment. But it's not the first time we've had in the zeitgeist of entertainment medium. From Blade Runner, the original, way back when. Even further, black and whites. They've been talking about like what is life, given it meaning. I have some of my favorites like AI. With Steven Spielberg, Bicentennial Man. Robin Williams played that brilliantly, that kind of Pinocchio story, which is great. But if we ever do get to a place where Boston Dynamics and AI put their programming together and we end up with a manservant in each home, is that going to be a good thing, or like you said, the downfall of humanity?
Well, depends on which laws of robotics they are able to follow.
I did not murder him. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Well, you guys let us know in the comments below if we get to that place where you can have a manservant robot as like just part of the norm. Would you accept one, or would you go, hell no, I've seen Skynet, I've seen Terminator?
Yeah, I don't think we're getting the Jetsons type of thing.
No, that's like thousands of years off probably.
Well, and they're all pleasant,
Oh, I see what you mean. They're nice and happy.
Yeah. We right now we probably get more of Futurama.
We're not lucky enough to get that. Yeah. Humans haven't been kind enough to each other. No. All right, let's jump into what was the best thing we watched this week. Chris, would you like to start?
Sure. I have quite a few of them. So,
wow, you watched a lot. You had good stuff this week?
I had a lot of good stuff this week. It's been stellar. Yeah, it's been awesome. I didn't actually have that much poo, which was really, really nice.
Great.
The first one, because last week we recorded early.
Yes.
So I actually watched this after we did our show. Otherwise, it would have been included in last week's show. But
okay.
For some unknown reason, Lionsgate decided to release a horror movie not only in July, but on the same weekend as Barbie and Oppenheimer, basically assuring that zero screens were going to have this. In my area, no theaters were showing it.
Isn't this available on digital as well now?
Now it is, yes.
Weird.
Came out last week, so I rented it and watched it. It's called Cobweb.
Yeah, this is definitely on my list. I watched your review, and I was like, I am down for this movie.
Dude, I had so much fun. You have Lizzie Kaplan, you have Anthony Starr, and then, oh wait, I'm going to mess up the kid's name because...
But Anthony Starr alone.
He's actually in it the least.
Oh,
like he's not
okay.
that. Yeah. There's Woody Norman, who is also in Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Nice.
Which I went and resaw that again this week because I took my family. I know. We'll talk about some news stuff with that, because when is that coming out? In September for you guys?
No, I don't
in
know.
theater?
It's no, we have no release date for that.
Oh, well, then here, I'll just spoil it now for my news, but it's hitting digital August 29th.
That's hilarious. So we'll see it way before it even comes to the UK cinema, meaning that it's not going to do nearly as much money as it should do.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't know why they didn't do this. It's
so dumb.
So in addition to Woody Norman, also is Cleopatra Coleman, who plays a substitute teacher. And basically you just have this, you go through it not knowing, is this a supernatural story, like a ghost story type of thing, a haunting, a poltergeist? Is this all in the kid's mind? Are his parents just utterly deranged? You know, is the entire audience being gaslit by something? Because Woody is shown to be an unreliable narrator. And so we go through, there's, if you watch the trailer, there's a jump scare that's shown in the trailer, which is unfortunate that they showed it in the trailer. I liked a lot of them because it held back in some of the jumps.
Okay.
It's not perfect, but it is creepy. There's some logic stuff towards the end that you kind of have to go, okay, whatever, we're just going with this. You know, but
what, like they go into the basement or they split up?
Well, there is that, yes, but no, even beyond that. But there's atmosphere that is created in this because of the demeanor of the parents. Lizzie Kaplan is phenomenal in this because she just, something's not right. You know, she's obsessive, she's overprotective, but then very sketchy also. And so you're just like, I don't know if I trust you. And then you sit weird, like when they eat dinner, she sits very stiff and she almost smiles, and you're like, ugh. At least with Anthony Starr, pretty much all the way through, you're like, I don't really like you.
Yeah, because you're Homelander. I don't trust you, like, off the bat.
Yeah. I mean, he's totally channeling Homelander through a lot of this because he has that, you know how he does that smile that looks like he's really forcing himself to smile.
Yeah. It's more subtle, isn't it? It's like,
it is. He's nailed it, and it's very unsettling. I had fun with it. I mean, it's not a long movie. I think it's 88 minutes.
Wow.
So it's quick. It does not
say it's welcome. That's what a horror should be. That's because for pacing, beginning, middle, end, introduce characters and the creepiness, give us backstory, make us care about the characters, finish it with the scares. That is the formula for horror. And it gets gory at points, which is also where you have to at some point kind of dissociate logic from certain things, and so it's whatever. Does it ever solidify as to if it's supernatural or not?
Oh yeah, you get answers.
Yeah. Oh, you get answers. Cool.
Yeah. Nice. And that's I'm gonna leave it at that.
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's really well done. You know, I had fun with it. That's the thing. You know what I mean? It's like one of those, like, I wasn't scared, but I was definitely tense, and I was kind of disturbed while I'm watching it because it's like, something doesn't feel right. And so I love that feeling that creates. So it did it effectively.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
For the best thing I watched, at the top of my list, without a doubt, and I was really hoping you were going to watch this because I really wanted to talk about it, is Mask Girl.
I am halfway through it.
Okay. Well, like 4, 5? Because there's 7 altogether.
There's 7. No, I'm almost done with 3.
Okay.
So let's definitely talk about it.
So I loved it. And the more I think about it, the more I love it. I just think its creativity is brilliant. Every single episode is a different perspective from another character that leads up to how they interact with our protagonist. So you know it's called Mask Girl. There's a young lady that gets bullied in a way that everybody calls her ugly. She takes that persona on herself. And the more people call her ugly, the more she thinks she's ugly. When she's odd looking, but she's not ugly by any means, or what society deems as ugly. I mean, what is that even? Everybody has beauty in some way. Somebody is going to look at that person and go, that is my future wife. You know, like that. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, I guess. That's the truth.
I thought more often than not, she just looked tired.
Yeah, she did. She had big bags under her eyes.
The bags under her eyes.
And mostly that could be sorted out because if she started believing in herself, which we do get to see, there are points in the series where she believes in herself and suddenly she lights up the room. She looks stunning, totally different. But there are themes in this that are so dark, so I should give a warning. There's self-harm, there's suicide, there are sexual attacks. They kind of have it all in there, bullying again, but like stronger stuff that we've seen from South Korea before, where they show bullying, but it's more like they're just beating the crap out of the person. Like you class it as bullying, I would just class it as assault. But there's obviously something that is within the cultural norm, because everybody has that in their entertainment segments now for their series when it comes out of Netflix a lot from South Korea. So that's one of the themes that you get in there. So we have this connected story that's broken up into 7 parts. Let me just say, this is not a Hollywood ending. It's also not like a completely sad ending. It's just very grounded. It's what you'd expect to happen, but you also don't want it to happen, but you know it's going to happen. You can predict what's going to happen, but you want to see that because we've been building up with every character. But I love how this shows the nastiness of a few people at the beginning. If they had changed their words to befriend her or go and sit there, just shown kindness, the ugliness of 2 or 3 young kids, the effect that has on so many families, the brokenness that people end up to multiple generations, that by the time we get to the end, it's just it's just a fork, like all these parts of different families that have just broken, and bad choices. Now, eventually, there is some redemption that's had in here for characters, which is great. But there are so many brave moments that the filmmakers have taken. There's episode 5, a lot we spend in jail. I think like half of it, and half of that is in black and white. Just complete contrast to what we've been having, and it really works. It's not just like, look, we're being artsy. It's this is furthering the story aesthetically, which is great. We also often, because we follow different characters, we get to know what has happened to some of the other family members, or part of the family members that have been affected by Mask Girl, who ends up hurting people because of a thing. And it's weird. You kind of feel like she's justified, but also she needs to be put away because of what she's done. But at the same time, I don't know that if I was in that situation, I would have done any different. Maybe not to her extent, but like, if someone's trying to attack you physically, are you allowed to protect yourself or not? There's a difference when like protecting yourself and then out of anger you just like decimate the body and hack it to pieces, and you know. There's an interesting reflection at culture as well, which I really liked in this. You know, the social media culture, what people are doing now. It's so like, I really feel like we're going to reach a crescendo with the social media, where either a whole bunch of stuff goes wrong and we start implementing and instigating things that can help, or it's just going to go the other way where it's so much worse. And you know, all the the Black Mirror series where they showcase things just like as far as humans can go and take it. Bleak. We're so close to that. This reflects that a bit.
Yeah, well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the series, it takes place in like the early 2010s, right? Because
so we jump around in time a bit, as you'll find out.
Because they talk about like new media and stuff, exactly. And how these cam rooms are just beginning to really
coming out.
evolve. Yeah.
We kind of follow our protagonist, the masked girl, as we see what has happened in her life, and it's honestly, it's riveting. The acting is incredible. The way it's filmed is very good. I didn't feel like it was too long. There were moments when we were doing a lot of backstory that I didn't think we needed so much of that backstory. I think we could have gone back to the main story sooner, but I understand why they were doing that. Also a contained story, so there's no need to worry about like, are they going to end it properly? Yeah.
Nice.
This was, although dark and brutal in a lot of places, it was very good. It was very, very good. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. I when I started it, I was like, well, first off, I hadn't watched a trailer and I didn't even read the synopsis of the description. So I didn't even know what it was. I was waiting until midnight for it to pop on, and then it came midnight and I hit play. And I wasn't sure at the very beginning, you know, because you're watching all this dancing and then like it becomes a cam girl type of thing.
Yeah, and you're like, what is this?
And I'm like, what is this going to be? Because I don't know if I'm just want to watch 7 episodes of
this girl,
the voyeuristic type of thing. And then I became hooked because of the characters, because of the drama that's included, and you in a very quick fashion understand some of their motivations and some of why they live these dual lives.
I love the way it showcases one person's perspective, and you're like, oh, how could that person do that to them? And then we get to the other side, and you're like, oh, this person's living a crappy life, and you see those moments in connect, and you're like, that's very clever. And then you understand to a point.
Yeah, there are definite shocking moments in this, and I was like, I mean, even in episode 1, I think it's in episode 1, because I think we're still seeing it from her perspective, where it was like, oh, I did not see that coming, and you have made a choice now.
I presume in the US it's got an R rating. It's definitely an 18 here in the UK, because
I'm sure, yeah,
it's got some like sexual stuff, all those things you need to be adult to kind of wrap your mind around.
Yeah, and I thought more so from the violent standpoint, the bullying aspect, and the assault that we see take place. That's really yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad I can't wait to finish it.
Yeah.
Well, last night, wow. Talking. Good job, Chris. There have been several screenings of this, and I have not seen any of them. I was on vacation when one of them happened, but they were having a fan type of screening. So I bought tickets. My youngest son went with me last night, and we saw Gran Turismo.
Oh, okay.
This is the movie that is based on the video game that's based on real life. True
story. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a Q&A that had been filmed that showed after it.
Amazing.
Which was really cool because the real life person of Jan, who the story centers around, he was the stunt driver for himself.
Really?
In the movie.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's a great, yeah.
I was like, that's really cool. Yeah. It's a Neil Blomkamp movie. I really only have some small nitpicks for this movie. I mean, it's long. It's like 2.5 hours long, I think, maybe a little less than that.
That is long for a racing movie. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not necessarily a bad thing in this. I had to pee, and so that I noticed the time a little bit, but other than that, it wasn't like, oh, this is boring. There was a segment towards the beginning in the first act that it felt like an editing mistake. Like David Harbour says a few things.
Yeah.
And then in another scene, he says almost identically these things.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it was and it stood out to me because it was like, I've heard this dialogue very recently before. And, and so anyway, there are some drone shots that are used. And remember in Ambulance, that Michael Bay film, the drone shots, while extreme, were so well done because he had hired the world champion FPV drone pilot who's like 19 or 20, which is ridiculous. Those what they captured was phenomenal. In Gran Turismo, some of it is awesome. Some of it feels like they're struggling to figure out where they wanted to put where they wanted to point the camera as they were flying. Right. So it there's some though where the drone comes down and then goes over the cars as they're coming at it. So you have this immense feeling of speed. That's mostly my nitpicks. It's not.
Wow. So everything else is good.
I was on the edge of my seat. I mean, there's a lot of racing that's shown. And so, if you're not a car person, if you don't like car racing, anything like that, which I don't watch car racing, but
like Grand Prix or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I don't watch any of those. I mean, it can be exciting, but it's so much more because I cared about the character. And then I was put into the car, and then the way that it's edited is so exciting. I mean, it is just, it's moving, like you feel motion. They do some really cool things with special effects and overlays that's a circular type of effect that it starts in the very beginning of the movie where we watch something happen. And then at the end of the movie, they do something very similar to that, but differently, like almost in reverse. And so it's a nice tie-in together. I liked the characters. David Harbour was great in this.
When is he not great? Even in Hellboy, he was great. Like, it wasn't his fault that Hellboy was bad.
Yeah, I haven't seen Hellboy. I'm not going to watch that one because I would prefer to continue to like him. So he was great. I mean, because he brings this heart. He's very gruff at the beginning. He's very he has this speech, which I was laughing out loud at little ports here and there because you have him speaking and then you have Orlando Bloom reacting. And it's just, it's good. The guy, let me look up his actor name because it, let's see, it is Archie Madekwe.
Yeah.
I'm probably massacring his
definitely heard
last
of that
name.
person.
Yeah, he plays Jan, the driver. You like him almost instantly because he's just kind of an average guy.
Interesting, because I didn't get that feeling when I watched the trailer. Like, I was like, I'm gonna watch it because it's Neil Blomkamp and I like the other actors. But the kid, they didn't showcase any kind of. I was like, I hope he's not just one of those kids, typical teenager at home, like, I'm good at this, that kind of almost chav type of character.
Yeah, no, they develop him and how you understand his motivations, you feel his heart, and there are
remind me who his dad is played by again?
Oh, Jimin Hunsu.
Ah, yeah, there you go.
He's really good in this. Spice Girls. Jerry Halliwell.
What,
she plays his mom.
What? I didn't know that.
I was looking at her for the longest time as it's going, and I'm like, they never really, the camera didn't stop down and focus on her, but she's always just moving here and there within the the scenes, even if she's talking or whatever. So it was never just this lockdown, her just looking at the camera. And I'm like, golly, you look really familiar. I'm like, why do I know you?
What are the Spice Girls up to now?
Yeah, and then 3/4 into the movie, there's a scene where she's just on the phone talking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think that's who, and yep,
that's it was. I was
like, yeah, so that was cool. That was awesome. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it is, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes long. They do overlays, graphic overlays and special effects really well. All of the actors in cars is practical.
Is it? I wondered if they were going CG or in cars and then screen.
Yeah, no, it's so what they did is they put yes, yeah. But the driver is actually mounted to the top of the car. So they've moved all of the hydraulics and all of the everything so that there's actually a real driver driving them, and then they're in the car.
How do they make you feel like you're still low enough to the ground for it to be that type of racing car then?
Oh, because the camera's right inside the car.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So it's it's impressive.
So you can cut to the driver, what they're feeling, and then you can cut to the camera. Yeah, very clever.
Yeah. And then there is
kind of like what they
of
did in Maverick, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And like I've been rewatching Ford v Ferrari because I just love that movie.
You love that movie, yeah.
That feeling, you know what I mean? Of like they put you in the car, then you get the race outside, you get to see the car. I mean, it's a lot of that. It was, I think there's enough emotion and enough excitement, and you care about the character enough with, you know, within the story. Like it's an underdog story. You want to watch him succeed. And because I didn't know it, I didn't know his story. There's parts in this where I'm like, are you surviving? Are you, I don't know the outcome of this. You know what I mean? Is this going to be a sad story? Is it going to be a happy story? Whatever. But so I think anybody that just wants a really fun, good, feel-good movie with a story, you know, with a hero that you can rally behind and you can root for, that's filled with excitement and just tension.
Is there a romance with the driver?
Minimal.
Okay.
Minimal.
I was just wondering, because I heard some people were saying they were wondering if this is going to be this generation's Days of Thunder. You know, there's a crash in the track. They got to get better. They got to come around. The Tom Cruise Top Gun movie.
Yeah. Yes, it would have some similarities to that. I think Ruben's racing. But yeah, and the love interest is minimalized.
Minimal, yeah. It's not the focus, which is great because it would detract from the main story.
Correct. Yeah. No, this is all about Jan and his journey, and you feel the excitement, the adrenaline, the fear, the anticipation, and even the stakes that are at play, because there's a goal that has to be met in a certain period of time, and as each time passes, you're like, you know, getting closer and closer. It's like,
did it open your eyes to the physical trauma that the body goes through when racing at this level? There's a lot of I guess stigmas, like how hard is racing actually? You're just driving a car and changing gears and going around corners. But a little bit I saw of the trailer, it's like that looks like it's showing the like how fast your senses have to be, how fit you actually have to be, the toll it takes, what it actually looks like when you're in that, going at that speed.
They do address the physical needs of it. And how it, and you get to see ramifications of if somebody's not in shape or something like that.
Right.
There's one point where I think it might be in the final race, where it shows the speedometer, which it shows that quite often just so that you can kind of get a sense of how quick these cars are moving. And this one's accelerating past 360 miles an hour. Oof. And I'm like,
dude, that you crash in that, you're dead.
Well, there's no reaction, and they even address that in some of the because you have, I mean, the whole setup of the story is a kid who could qualify to, they want to take a Gran Turismo video game player, take the best of them, and then put them in a race car. Yeah. And so there's what they call GT Academy. And so there's a chunk of the movie that's that, where you get to watch them training. Yeah. And so it feels real. It feels, well, no, it's not even a montage. It's actually
just part of the film. It's
part of the film. Yeah. And so, I mean, there's montages within there, but more so, I mean, this is our understanding of what is required, what they're going through.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. This comes out in theaters this coming week, the 20 something or other. Wait, what? Is it not?
It's been here for over a week already. Out.
Oh, Yeah, because see, it was supposed to come out last week, and then it got delayed in the U.S. for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's fully out, yeah.
So, okay, well, go see it then. It's fun. I think you'll enjoy it.
Nice. I'm a big fan of Neil Blomkamp. I just need family to go with me.
There you go.
Damn it. Can you hop over quick from the US?
Absolutely. Not a problem. I'll be there tomorrow.
Cool.
Or, well, not tomorrow. My tomorrow. Your tomorrow.
Cool.
Because of the time difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You all right?
Yep. All right, what's next?
Next on my list is a series that I didn't even know was coming out, to be honest. I was doing the rounds like I do every Monday. I go through all my screeners list and all the channels, trying to check what I should be on top of. Like, I'm always missing stuff. So I'm like, okay, let's listen. And I was like, I saw this series and like, oh, what's that? And I asked for the screeners and they sent me half of the season. And I was like, I'll give the first episode a go. And then 5 hours later, I watched the 5 episodes they sent me. The Winter King is season 9 of Game of Thrones. No, I'm kidding. It's The Winter King is a new take on the Arthurian legend, based on the Bernard. What's his name? Based on the same author who did The Last Kingdom.
Yes.
So it feels very grounded. There's not a lot of magic going on in this series, although there is Merlin. He has his pagans and he has his priestess, and they do some similar stuff like you would see in Vikings, the pagan rituals, that kind of thing. And he does do a couple of Jedi mind tricks, which they're towing the line of what is magic and what could happen. He speaks to the gods. We have that conflict again of Christianity trying to push out anything pagan. Yeah, which is constant in the Viking lore. But in here we have the Arthurian legend, which, by the way, isn't real. If you go and there was a person that could have been, but actual historians, they dispute the fact whether he was that. There could have been a lord that was someone named Arthur, and you can go do your history. So this is loosely based on history, at a time of history, but we're talking magics, we're talking wizards, we're talking the sword and the stone, that kind of stuff. It's
Arthur, King of the Britons.
Yes, exactly. So we have all of that kind of lore in there, but it's going to be different to how you've seen it. Think The Last Kingdom. That's what you're expecting. Now, the lead character who plays Arthur is Fitzgerald from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And never in a million years did I think that this geeky character, Fitzgerald, could play Arthur. And we're talking an Arthur that is gruff, bearded, strong, wise. I mean, Fitzgerald is like the smartest character. But when I saw him, I kind of blew my mind. It's like, oh, that's you. And I almost immediately forgot that it was him, because he really encompasses. It's an interesting story, similar to Robin Hood and Prince of Thieves. He gets exiled from his land. He says something that he believes is right, and because of that, his king tells him, I'm either going to chop your head off, but Merlin interjects and says, no, just exile him. No one will give him quarter. So he goes and fights wars elsewhere, comes back with his own band of really well-trained guys. I imagine that's their version of the Round Table sort of thing. These guys are just know what they're doing and would die for him. So he comes back when his kingdom needs him. We have similar stories in there, like Morgana is always part of the Arthurian legend. Merlin's going to be in there. The priestess is going to be in there. The bickering of kings and ownership of land is very similar to that of Game of Thrones and The Last Kingdom. You shove those in there, and that's kind of what you have in here. It's not battle heavy, but when you do get action, as you would expect, it's good, but it's brutal. It reminded me a little bit. There's one episode reminded me a little bit of the Red Wedding. It's that sort of brutalness. Ooh. So it's I haven't seen all 10, But so far, I'm very impressed. Like, I was just like, man, I'm so in it. Like, I'm rooting for the characters, and I hate some characters already. You know, like Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. This is characters that, yeah, the
that
king
you're meant to dislike, right?
Yeah, like Lord Farquaad, as everybody calls him now. I thought it was great. Really fun.
Is there a lot of political scheming? Any of that type of? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Lots. Yeah, that is all the intrigue. And Arthur's so wise, and at times he can come across as like just a douchebag, but then later on you figure out why he's done something, like keeping an enemy around in their castle that he's going to use as a chess piece, but the person that he killed, you really want that enemy to have their heads chopped or just drawn and quartered because he's so evil. It's that sort of maneuvering. It's really fun. It's well done.
Nice.
Shot in Bristol, I believe, in a ruin of a castle, and then obviously blue screen.
Fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so like
cool.
a physical location. Yeah.
Nice. That's on MGM Plus.
MGM Plus. I also believe they're selling it out to other streaming services. So
really?
Depending on where you're going to find it, you may see it on other platforms as well.
Okay. Cool. Nice.
Yeah. When you listen to this on the Sunday, the first couple of episodes, I think, come out.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah. I don't know how many of them are dropping at once, but yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So what's next on your list?
Superhero movie, surprisingly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Blue Beetle was fun. Here's the thing. It is not the perfect superhero movie.
I've heard otherwise, Chris.
Yeah, well, I know you have, but I disagree with that.
And the people going to see it say otherwise. Where are the DC fans that love DC? It's taking less money than Flash.
Which, that's disgusting because this is so much better of a movie than Flash. The CG. Let's just start off with CG.
for one.
It's just light years better.
No, man, the CG was meant to look like that.
Like crap? Well, good. Mission accomplished. Because it looks like you had a 12-year-old with, a Windows 95 doing it. Yeah, exactly. Jola Maraduena.
What did you just say? Did your brain just go?
Maraduena.
Okay.
His name, the actor's name, who plays Jaime Reyes. He's Miguel in Cobra Kai.
Right. Yeah, say that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
My brain just went.
He's awesome. I mean, he brings the same type of charm and heart that he has in Cobra Kai to this.
So he's very likable.
Very likable. Yeah. I mean, he's down to earth. He's the reluctant hero, which we often see, but his is more of like, this is thrust upon him. And so it's not like he's like feigning humility or something, he's like, no, I don't want to be the hero. I don't want to be the hero.
Oh no. Is this like Shazam? Like I got powers. Let's see what I can do with it.
You do get a tiny bit of that later, but not like this. I mean, this is more so of like, hi, I'm going to put this on you. This is you now.
All right.
Wait.
Okay.
Excuse, I'm a cow. Can I go home?
You can't take it off, right?
No. At least in the movie, yeah. So I don't know what the comic book lore is, but in the movie lore, no, it's there. It's him. It's so you watch that. His family, the family tie, the family dynamic, and the emotion that is contained within there. They did some things where I was not expecting, and I was like, whoa. Okay, that's powerful, and that's
that's amazing because I just didn't get that from the trailer. It looked really cheesy in places. The trailer put me off watching the movie.
I saw it because we went and saw Meg 2, which is absolute trash. But
that movie is hilarious.
Oh my gosh, the Blue Beetle trailer played before it, and I leaned over to my youngest son and I was like, does this even look interesting to you anymore? And he's like, no, not really. We both went. I took him to the screening as well. And what you see in the trailer is some of what's in the movie, but not the true context of a lot of it. Yeah. So we get Grandma holding that big Gatling gun. To me, in the trailer, that was just like, oh, that is just cheese. That is stupid. You're going off the rails now. You're trying to just be funny, you know?
Here we go. Thor, Love and Thunder again.
Exactly. And I don't need that. That scene in its context does contain some humor, but also has some greater story and character development around it. So it makes sense with Grandma holding the Gatling gun.
Wow.
Like it works. And then you're like, all right, okay. And it's not just a one and done type of thing. It's several story beats within there of character development where it's referenced. Yeah. So it feels natural. It feels part of the story. George Lopez is great in there. I mean, he has some really good timing. I was worried because all I was seeing was like Shark Boy and Lava Girl, or one of the Spy Kids movies. Just him, but he's so much more than that. And the trailer does not do that justice.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah, there's a lot of family within this. I personally would have liked more lore surrounding the Blue Beetle Scarab.
Yeah, because it is a bit of an obscure one. Not a lot of people know about the Blue Beetle. It is, if you were going to do the origin, you really needed to kind of explain more.
Yeah, I would have preferred that so that I understood better of what it is and why it's there. Because we kind of just there's an opening graphics type of scene over the
right
over the credits, and so you understand
many thousands of years ago.
Sort of.
This
but there's no voiceover. There's no text. There's no voiceover. It's just you're just watching animation.
Okay,
exactly.
Cool. Yeah.
Susan Sarandon is good as the villain. I think she's. I mean, you understand her.
She's bug back.
Yeah,
it's my bug.
My bubbles. She's decent in this. I mean, I liked her. And she was she had some presence, and she certainly is that detached, gruesome corporate greed. Like, right. So if you're that part of it, I mean, she embodies and just
she's just the bad guy that wants to use the technology for money and stuff.
Yeah. So there's that. I don't think all of the CG is awesome looking. A couple of times it looks like animation.
CG. Right.
Yeah, but more often than not, it was just fun. That was the thing. Like, I came out of that pleasantly surprised. No, I didn't have really any expectations for the movie, so that probably helped some. But it was just a fun time. Like, this is one that I would like to watch again. It's not like The Flash I don't ever care to see again. Whatever. Thor Love and Thunder was that the recent one? The last one?
Yeah.
I don't want to watch that one again either. I'm some of these silly type of things or whatever that are they're underdeveloped or just not. So this is fun. I mean, it's a great family movie, I think. That there's some good fights. I think there could be more. There could be more development with one of our baddies, this henchman guy. Like he has a great story arc towards the end of the movie. I would have liked to have seen more of him become that antagonist to Blue Beetle throughout, but what we get is fun. So, yeah, good time.
Certainly better than I was expecting. Well, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so now we're going to go way back when we're going to do a sort of little retrospective. This film is old. I mean, but it's nostalgic goodness. But it's nowhere near, is it a good film?
Oh, one of those. Okay.
Yeah. It's... I don't know if you were ever into skating, but I've recently taken up skating again because I needed to do something energetic.
When you say
skateboarding.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're using the same terminology. So
Right,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
So when I was like 14, well, no, probably earlier than that, 12 to about 14, 15, I was skating, and I got okay. Like, I wasn't Tony Hawk, but I was, I could do an ollie, I could grind on things, I could go down half pipes.
Wow.
And then obviously I moved to the UK and all of that was lost. And now I'm overweight and I've bought myself a board that's like quite thick, like 7-ply, and it's larger and
is it a
strong
longboard?
chucks. It's not a longboard, but it's a normal board, but it's just stronger chucks, because they are builds you can buy for heavier set people. And I've been trying to learn how to balance again, because that's a thing, especially with all the extra weight and how tight I need to tighten up my trucks. Trucks, yeah. For years I went thinking they were chucks, but they're trucks.
Those are shoes.
Yeah, trucks. You got trucks on your board, and it got me thinking of like what got me actually into skating. And there were a couple of movies. One was like the hoverboard, or Back to the Future, and we had even the first one. There's always a skating moment. That was great. That was so cool. And then there was this terrible film in 1989. It's an hour and 45 minutes long. It's got a very young Christian Slater, and it's called Gleaming the Cube.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
Have you ever seen this film, Chris?
I don't know if I've seen it or not. If I have, I don't remember it.
This film is really interesting because it has some of the world's best skaters in it as like extras. Or like as part of the gang that skate with Christian Slater. Slater himself got taught by the world's best skater at the time. He spent like 6 months just so that he would appear on the board like he knew what he's doing, and it was comfortable on the board, so you felt comfortable watching him. There were some really, really cheesy moments and moments that just didn't make sense. It's a classic hero story, David versus Goliath sort of thing. Which Christian Slater and to be honest, Christian Slater isn't very good in like his acting role, and this is not one of his better roles. Before he did Heathers, but this is before Pump Up the Volume, until he started getting really great roles, and he was just really knocking out of the park. But it is classic 90s nostalgia coming of age film. It's one of the first few films that showcase what skating was about, more than just youngsters being hooligans. It was a whole way of life. If you listen to Tony Hawk talk about because he was Buddy, the pizza guy or truck driver, but he was also a stunt guy in it. He actually injured himself quite a bit on this film, because there was this scene, I think it's one of San Francisco's hills, like when they're coming over the hill and there's this truck coming down it and all the skaters are coming down as well. It's just so dangerous. They couldn't stop fast enough, so they all kind of rolled off their boards and stuff. But that's what skaters do. They do that. When we went to Disneyland, there's a hotel that we stayed at for the night, Chris. Across the road, there is a location where the Guardian's Tower is now. Yeah. That is previously was a location in the film that was something else. Do you remember what that was? Like the Toxic Tower? Does that ring a bell?
Tower of Terror.
Tower of Terror, yeah. So that was used in the film. Literally near us where we were staying was another part of the segment. So it's like they sporadically like had all these sections, but obviously was the cheapest version they could find and knitted together this. But it spawned a generation's cool factor for Christian Slater. It helped him, but also into skating. There were a few, like Dogtown and the Z-Boys, which is a documentary. It's an incredible skating film. But the guys that became the pool skaters, showing what you could actually do, they would go up in the helicopter or plane and look for the empty pools and then go skating there and do a very different type of skating. It launched itself into speed skating because you get those long hills, super dangerous, and then those weird, instead of half pipes, you just go over the lip of the pool all of that launched into an escapism for young men and women finding themselves, a coming of age thing, and that gave them a place where they could actually do that, and skating became, it was almost punk rock, but not quite. It was its own thing. And it's so nice to see that it's making a huge comeback. Like, skating's always been there. It's had highs and lows, but now it's like, it's, you have the sporting, but it's coming back again. I really hope somebody does a great story movie with skating again, but actually makes it good. If you've never seen it, you can't go into thinking that this is a good story, but you may want to watch it just for the skaters that you see in it. Tony Hawk, very young Tony Hawk to name but a few of them. So this was a nostalgic ride for me, reminding me why I loved those movies.
Did you, Lords of Dogtown? Is that the Amy Heckerling movie with has Heath Ledger, I think, in it?
Yeah.
Maybe not Heath Ledger. I don't know. But the great skate movie. I don't know if you ever watched X Games. Did you ever watch the X Games?
I don't think so. Oh, okay, you mean like the actual X Games, not like the movie X Games?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
Yeah, that was like, because I'm not into sports, but that was the one sports thing that I would watch, because I would watch skateboarding, the motocross, the rally cars, all of that stuff. There was one in 2008 where I remember, and I don't know if you ever saw it. It was the Big Air competition where a skateboarder goes down this crazy ramp and then goes up, and they're just trying to reach as high as they can and then come back down on their board. And this guy named Danny Way went up, and he went up so freaking high, and then he came away from his board and he fell straight down.
Oh, was he dead? Did he survive?
No, it blew his shoes off. I mean, what? It is, oh my gosh, no. I remember watching it, like I was, like I gasped, and my jaw was, because I was like, oh my gosh, did he, holy crap, don't be dead. Because it was just, it was horrifying. And so, yeah, you just look that up. All you have to look up is 2008 X Games and Danny Way, and it is
something to see people that are really, really good at their craft, especially extreme games. I saw Tony Hawk live once in South Africa, and the size of the half pipe that they were skating on was ridiculous. Like, even if you were sitting in the auditorium and you're super far back, you still see it because it's so big.
It's so massive.
And he goes down forever and then comes up the other side, and then because Tony Hawk was like one of the first to do a few moves, because there's a reason why he's so good at what he does. And they just blew my mind away. I was like, you're flying. You're like, you're defying gravity for sure. And every kid in there was just going, yeah, I want to do that. And all the mums and dads like, oh, hospital bills, here we go.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Oh, right on. Well, it's funny that you watch something older. I watched something older, too, that's on my list this week. Mine's not nearly as old. Okay. It's from 1995. And it is, it's on, at least in the U.S., it's on Max. So you might be able to find it other places. Okay. I don't know if it actually got like a theatrical release or not. But I saw somebody had put out a list on YouTube of some great movies to watch on HBO Max, and so I decided, I'll check one of these out.
Yeah.
It's called Citizen X.
Oh, now, the Jude Law one.
No.
Oh.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
This one has Donald Sutherland, Stephen Ray, Max von Sydow, Jos Ackland. So even Imelda Staunton, crazy. It's really funny because you have, it takes place in Russia.
Right.
And you have all these British actors playing Russians. So that's funny. But Citizen X came out in the 90s. The movie takes place in the 80s. But the way that it was filmed looks like it was made in the 70s.
Weird.
Yeah, like it's almost, it was weird watching it because I'm like, this does not look like a 90s movie. Even with all the 85, like the 80s aesthetics, and then you have the USSR, so it was a little behind in, some of the styling and everything else. So it was a little older, but the way that the film is actually shot feels like you're watching a 1970s movie. You know how there's not a lot of depth to the filming. I mean, it's pretty much, everything is in, oops, as I hit my microphone, everything's in focus. There will be some big pans. There'll be some zooms. What this does is it's a mystery that is searching for what one guy believes is a serial killer. But the Soviet government is like, there are no serial killers in the USSR. That is a Western problem.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah, exactly. And so you watch this investigation go over decades.
Wow.
And the toll that it takes. Donald Sutherland plays this, he's a colonel in the KGB, maybe. I don't know exactly what he's in. But he grabs this forensic pathologist who then becomes a detective. And now he's the one in searching and everything. And you get to watch his progression. And that's Stephen Ray who plays.
Is this a first time watch for you?
This is a first time watch for me. I'd never seen it before. And it's slower, but it's so engaging because it has that older movie feel. You know what I mean? It's just a building drama where we're going and we see things. We see the frustration that our characters are facing because they're coming up against ideologies that are just unwilling to move or ignore or acknowledge anything other than, no, this is how it is. We don't have that here. It's based on a true story, so it's even more horrifying. And the dude who is finally responsible, which we see pretty early on of who it is and who they're. So it's not so much of the mystery of who is doing it, but how will they catch that person? That's, how does that, but this was one of the most prolific serial killers ever.
Really?
Yeah. And it's horrifying. It's
Okay.
it's disgusting at what, the gore is not very much. There's not a lot of blood and gore. There's some violence. There's some
so it's more
sexual
psychological.
violence. What?
So it's more psychological.
Yes. And definitely much more of a drama and a, I mean, it's a big character drama as you some thrills within there, this building intensity, especially as you get closer and closer. And then just the dynamics between some of the characters, because Stephen Ray and Donald Sutherland have a lot of conversations back and forth, but then there are other things that are going on. And so you watch Donald Sutherland playing chess with people, but trying also to teach Stephen Ray to play chess with people so that you can get what you need accomplished, especially then within the USSR, because it's not, some of that, the maneuvering of people or the working, and understanding who to talk to and how to do that, that's kind of a universal thing. But then there's another layer there that makes it even more complicated because they could just send you off to a camp. So if you've never seen it and you like dramas like that, and some, some intrigue.
What made you choose it?
When I saw that list of great movies on HBO Max that are right now, I was just and so I was going through the list and I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that. Oh, I've seen that. I need to rewatch that. Oh, I need to rewatch that. I want to rewatch that. I remember that one. And this one was just I've never seen this one. What's this about? Read a quick synopsis. I was like, I'll put it on and see. Worst case is I turn it off. No, I was I was sucked in and I was enjoying it. And then just you see different characters come on and you're like, oh, wow, that actor's in this now. Wow. Okay. So. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's everything I've got for the best thing watched this week.
Oh, I got one more that I'm only going to barely touch on because it is not a review by any means. This is more of a reaction because that is the only thing I'm allowed to say.
Oh, right. Okay.
I watched the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka.
Ah, you bastard.
Yeah, I didn't ask for it. They just sent it, which was fun and awesome. It I don't know how I feel totally about it. I didn't watch Rebels, so there's a lot that's missed on me, you know, from my perspective, because my son was asking
expecting everybody to have watched all the other stuff.
I don't think so, because I understand there's a lot of context that I'm sure I'm missing because I didn't watch that, because they reference characters. My son actually asked me before I watched, he was like, "Are you going to watch Rebels?" So that you, and I'm like, I don't have time for that. No, I'm just, you know, Rosario Dawson is great. There's, let me look here. What the other,
how long are the episodes?
The first one's almost an hour. Second one is like 40 something minutes. Natasha Liu Bordizzo, she plays Sabine, and she's great. Also, David Tennant voices a robot, which is fun.
Yeah, I heard that was happening.
So Mary Elizabeth Winstead is playing Hera Syndulla.
Good lightsaber action?
There's some really cool stuff. Yeah, there's some fun fights. The opening scene, it's very weird. It's like they're sticking to some of the aesthetics from A New Hope.
Right.
With some of the, you know, the set designs and everything else.
Okay.
But then in other ways they're not. So it's very weird.
Choice.
Like there's a scene on a bridge of a ship, and I gotta say it looks worse than anything you've ever seen in Star Trek.
I was gonna say, does it have does it have a tangible feeling to it like Andor has, or does it feel like the other Star Wars where it does feel like there's a bit of a screen that they're using, and then there's a little bit of...
There are some scenes where it is like, whoa, that is clearly animation and not real, and it doesn't... I don't like it. So I don't know how I feel. The pace of the first episode was slow, but I'm not saying that is a bad thing. It was allowing me to get into it and to enjoy, and your battery died. Yeah. So I was saying it's slower, not necessarily a bad thing. I don't count that as a bad thing. I mean, it just envelops us into the story.
Yeah. Do you know how many episodes there are going to be in this series? Is it 6 again?
If IMDb is correct, 8.
8, okay.
Yeah.
So with the 2 you've seen, does it feel like they're going to be rushing it, or are they taking their time and then they're going to finish quickly?
I honestly have no idea where this is going.
Right.
And maybe that's because I haven't seen Rebels. You know, I don't...
I wondered if we were going to get a cameo with Anakin.
Yeah. Supposedly, at least according to IMDb.
Right.
So I have not seen that. Yeah. So I don't know.
Because obviously in the animation story, Ahsoka is the Padawan of Anakin. So
he is mentioned in this. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to expect of it. It has there are certain aspects that feel very much like The Mandalorian. Dave Filoni directs the first episode, and it's very
that's
apparent.
Not a bad thing.
No. I don't say that as a bad thing either. No, not at all. Like I'm engaged in it. I'm intrigued. This is not something though that has me knocking down the walls to like, oh my gosh, I have to, knock over old people to get
this
to
was
see.
like one of my most anticipated, the only reason I'm still keeping Disney series.
Yeah, the makeup, especially on Ahsoka, on Rosario Dawson.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm impressed. I love her white lightsabers too.
Yeah,
so
badass.
cool. Yeah. So I don't know.
Is there
I mean,
a theme like The Mandalorian? You know, like a score that you.
There is, but not as iconic. Like I can't remember it. It doesn't stick in my head.
Damn it.
So
It needs that.
It'll be interesting to see. I don't know. Like I'm not overly excited by it. Like what it had was good. Okay, I'm not saying it wasn't good. It was a good entry into the story. But I do feel like there's a lot of context that I don't necessarily have, which might solidify it even more had I seen and been familiar with the lead up to this.
Okay, so when is your review coming out?
I don't remember when the embargo's up. Let's see here. The embargo is Tuesday the 22nd at 9 a.m. my time.
Okay.
So because they moved up the episodes, so now the episodes, instead of dropping on the 23rd, are dropping on the 22nd.
Oh, so it comes out on Wednesday.
Wait, is that the 22nd?
Oh, it's the 19th today.
No, 22nd is Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, so
it
Tuesday.
Comes out Tuesday. So the embargo lifts on the same day.
Yes, but the embargo lifts in the morning, and the
Right.
episodes drop in the evening. So
They drop in the evening? Weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, thanks for your reaction. I'm looking forward to it still, I think.
I think so. I think give it a go. You know, I think also I'm tempering my expectations a lot on a lot of these shows now.
Yeah, I am as well. Yeah, I think everybody is, to be honest.
Yeah. So it might be outstanding as a whole. You know what I mean? It's really hard to judge based on 2 episodes. Like, is the story going to be great?
Yeah, this is just.
So.
It almost does them a disservice. Really, they should give and allow critics and reviewers to do an no spoilers given, no specifics, just does it complete that sort of review. Because giving little bits, you'll either get it looks good so far, or no, I'm not enjoying this, but it could work out that it works its way to being excellent. So it's a really weird design that they've gone for now. I personally think it's a mistake, but yeah. Cool.
Are you ready for your section?
Yeah, I don't have any anime this week. There wasn't anything new to watch. I'm just continuing to watch episodes of animes that are out still that I am enjoying. All of those that I've mentioned previously on Over 9,000, those are like weekly episodes. When they finish, maybe I'll do a recap and let everybody know whether they finished well.
Okay.
I think in the next couple of weeks, we've got some good ones coming out. The only animation I watched was The Monkey King this week, which was good, was fun. It wasn't brilliant, but it was fine. It was more aimed at kids, I think. So animation, fantastic. Story was meh. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we thank you for joining us. Don't forget, we have a Patreon opportunity at patreon.com/thebeardedones. £1 gets you in there. There are other tiers and that you can gain more access. There's also a couple that are outside of the paywall. Like Ruben had mentioned, we're doing a movie charades this week. So that should be, it will be.
It'll be what it'll be. Yeah.
It will be what it'll be. We have extended audio portion where we're going to be talking about probably the worst thing that we watched this week, or at least something that did not make our list. We hit up entertainment news, things that are coming in the next week as well as far as releases. And then we also hit up a movie that we've either never seen before or it's been a really long time. This week we watched Shin Godzilla. It was my first time watching. Had you ever seen it before?
So I thought I'd seen it. I think what happened is I watched half of it and switched off previously, and then we'll talk about it.
Well, we'll talk. Okay. So that's going to come up in the audio portion. You can find us on basically any podcasting platform that you listen to. If you happen to listen to us on one of those, if you could rate and review us, that would be outstanding. Also, don't forget to like, share, subscribe each of our YouTube channels. Whichever one you're watching this on, head over to the other one. You got Ruben with the Ruby Tuesday, me, Chris, Movies and Munchies. With that, hey, we'll see you next week. All right. Take care.